to Saturday, and we are live at Brookvale Oval for this round 15 clash in the Telstra Premiership. It's the Manly Sea Eagles taking on the visiting Cronulla Sharks. Our referee tonight is Tim Mander. It's been around 10 years plus now in the NRL. It will be the Sea Eagles who'll defend the southern end of Brookvale Oval first up tonight, and perhaps a slight breeze at their backs to kick with in this first 40 minutes. Time on, and it's Ben Walker who'll get us underway. And David Peachey coming across will take the kick off, give it back, and they'll work it up towards their own 20 with Chris Beattie getting the first touch. Gibson from dummy half coming to Matt Bickerstaff, as ever, with the socks down, easy to pick out. Gibson from dummy half again. Stevens chipping it on to Danny Nutley, who's almost away on just the third tackle of the game. Nice piece of play by the front rower to give it to Nutley. Now Peachey getting involved, one off the ruck, offloading from Dalalana. It comes back to Nutley. From Beattie's hands, it was knocked on. It was building for the Sharks.
Okay, let's make sure we're binding properly. Second rower's binding properly. Outside legs. You gonna wait for me, Luke? Outside leg, Aaron. No, outside leg. Let him get it in. That's it.
Luke Dawn having a bit of a job finding the tunnel, but eventually got there, and the Sea Eagles have their first possession, and they'll take it down to almost the Sharks' 30-metre line, where Torrens plays it for Hopewadi. It comes across the field before Gibson gets up very quickly off the defensive line to stop him, and then Stevens, Nutley and Hilda all get there to help out. They roll him onto his back to slow the ball down. Hamono is dangerous, as we said. There's an offload, but a forward one.
There. That was forward.
He came up with a couple of them for tries last week against the Bulldogs, but this one was forward.
And that's where you've got to be careful of. Solomon Hamono going to the line. He gets his right arm free. You must be jamming in on the runner. You stay out, the runner goes through.
Andrew, don't you? Outside leg, Jace.
It was very close, I tell you, the forward pass. It was only just forward if it was. Andrew Emilio working it away from the Sharks' 20. Peachey into dummy half, getting very involved already. Bickerstaff again takes it up towards the halfway line. They've made some long inroads in the first couple of touches. Here's Nutley now, one man who went a long way up towards the halfway line before they put it down through the Beattie mistake. It came from Jason Stevens, who offloaded. Again, he does here, standing in the tackle. Peachey, likewise, getting it back to Pat Gibson. They're able to stand and get the pass away and keep things going on here, and they're frantic. The Sharks wanting to keep it going. Bird showing it before he's wrapped up by Walker and also Williamson. He'll play it. 28 out, last tackle for the Sharks. Dalalana with his first touch comes back to Bird, who will put it high in the air eventually. Menzies is there standing underneath it for the Sea Eagles, and they were sweating on him, and he wraps it up for them.
Yeah, already it's very noticeable. The Sharks are looking to play a lot of second phase play, trying to offload the football and trying to run in numbers, in pairs. The Eagles are playing a compressed defensive line, and they're charging out, and it's on the edge where they're staying back, and little two plays are getting the Eagles at the moment as Hopewadi comes infield looking for work.
Stopped there by Dalalana, Bickerstaff, and then Beattie come in to put him on his back once again. Randall to Aaron Cannings. He's worked off the bench at various stages this year. He's also been starting 13 player and has been for the last couple of weeks. He's Jason King, who was out last week. He takes the place of Danny Lima tonight, who goes back to the bench. Walker from inside his own half. Will kick into the gap there between Milford and also Peachey, who has almost an air swing. Luckily for him, he got a touch, but it went backwards. A little unsure with the hands in front of his own post from the kick return. Matthew Reek will play it back to Hilda. He'll take it up towards the 30 for the Sharks. Gibson coming to Stevens. He's looked pretty good so far tonight, of course. If any of the New South Wales forwards were to find themselves injured in the couple of days before Origin 2, Stevens would be very squarely looked at by the selectors as a possible replacement for anybody. Now here's a kick from Dalalana, which is a good one, into the far corner, and Reeves has to go across And when he gets there, he's hemmed in by the Sharks. A good kick by the young halfback.
Yeah, good kick, left footer. I'm sure the Eagles would have taken note of that. Got to make sure they get some kick pressure on the young fella. Try and make his debut as uncomfortable as possible. But they're certainly out enthusing the Manly side at the moment.
Going early.
The Sharks up inside the 10 here. And the Seagulls will find the line through the kick of Ben Walker. Very noticeable. They're playing with a lot of intensity early in this game. The Sharks, they want to play a very much up-tempo game, both in attack and defence, and that time it came back to bite them. Hamono falling over as he plays it. Manda says play on. Now Williamson, who's been very good in the second row for the Seagulls. Might be a player down injured for the Sharks. Anderson, I think you'll find, is still down there on the ground behind the play. They play it through Williamson. Here's Dawn now with players off his hip. He finds Aaron Cannings, who's just 12 metres out. Randall, a danger to Grubber close to the line, but this time he puts it through the hands. Jason King running at Anderson, who only just made it back into the defensive line. Walker now awaited Dawn, who tried it on. Took his chance to try and score a try, but now it's McDougall who puts a kick, and not a bad one either. Peachy will take it across the dead ball line. The Seagulls have done well to get 6 more tackles.
Yeah, Ben Walker very heavily involved in that set of 6. Using the football, then coming back a short side. They really worked out Jared Anderson. He was hurt at the start of that set and couldn't quite recover. He's back there. Hilda's actually struggling in back play. He's with the trainer.
There's Jared Anderson being injured. He came together with Matt Hilda, who has a cut. You saw it. The head clash there between Anderson and Hilda has left Matt Hilda with a nasty gash to the forehead. That will need some repairing, and as you can hear the trainer say, it is too big to repair out there and tape up on the field, and will force a replacement for the Sharks early in the game. Hilda, luckily for the Sharks, was able to get back to his feet very quickly, and despite that cut, take his place in the defensive line. Anderson was left on the ground, and the early injury to Hilda means that Dean Bosnich will come out in 16 a bit earlier than I'm sure he would have imagined, coming off the bench with just on 6 minutes gone here tonight. Now you can see Anderson also there receiving some attention. They'll tape him up. Tim Manda happy for the clock to be stopped at the moment while all these running repairs are carried out.
No starts here.
Anderson's okay. Time back on. And the drop out from Dalalana comes down to Walker. The King runs at Gibson and bounces off him. Good return by the front rower. Midfield 30 out for the Seagulls. He gives it to Cannings now. Takes them a long way with him also. Randall into dummy half with Walker. Close by at first receiver. Bypasses King. Got a pass which wasn't a good one to Brendan Reeves, who in the end did pretty well to come up with it. Luke Dawn back on the inside for Menzies. Standing, and they wrap him up. McDougall going from dummy half across the face of them. They held their line, but he's almost through them. Popped the ball back. Now to Jason King, to Dawn, who's still going. Gives it back to Walker. Offloads have been the order of the night from both teams so far. And now it's Scott Donald who's wrapped up. 12 out with 2 tackles left in this set of 6. Randall going to them, grubbering. Peachy, though, did well to pick it up and is still on his feet. He's got some support there with Milford. He comes back infield now. He's trying to link up with some support players. In fact, he had Nutley backing up on the inside, and Nutley almost brought him down.
Well, if the way these two sides are playing using the football, you expect this to be a high-scoring game, don't you? They are looking to attack, create a lot of second phase play. The Sharks done extremely well to hold off on that occasion. Chad Randall, if he had that play over again, I don't think he would have grubber kicked it. Maybe would have looked to get to the post. And Peachy just in the perfect position.
Gibson to Dalalana, kicking early in the tackle count, which might not be a bad idea. With a bit of pressure on the rookie halfback here tonight. Another good kick. I've seen Hopewadi pick it up right in the corner of the field. They might try and frog march him across the touchline. Hopper realised he needed to get to ground quickly and did exactly that. Torrens playing on that right-hand side for the Seagulls. Spent a bit of time at fullback last week against the Bulldogs when the experiment with Kevin McGuinness was a short-lived one. McDougall here, throwing a pass, intercepted by Stevens, who then threw one to Hopewati, who was almost away. It's still play on. The advantage for Manly was lost when Hopewati knocked it on. It comes back to the Sharks now, and it's Peachy who has it just outside the 20. Emilio down the middle of the park is just 14 metres out. Gibson giving it to Delalana, who had Beattie run a line for him. The Sea Eagles, though, didn't fall for the decoy. Gibson now to Peachy as they stack the short side. Bosnich comes back towards the post, pops a pass to Delalana, then it comes to Bird. He's running, stepping, weaving through them, and will score under the black dot for the Sharks. They hung off, waiting to see who he was going to pass it to. Well, he hung on to it and was able to score under the post. The Sharks will play from in front.
Yeah, he's extremely happy about it. From one try, or from one, as if it was going to be a try down one end. Hopewati nearly taking the intercept. And then the Sharks there retrieving the football. Emilio making a lovely run. It's just been the ability to unload the football. And Peachy certainly getting a lot more involved. Bosnich running the ball at the line. Just an offload and then nice hands. The Eagles were looking to come up and in. Then they decided to hold their line and move backwards. And a lovely left foot step there by Greg Byrne under the sticks. And the Sharks get the first 4-pointer of the night.
You said in our pre-game show, Laurie, he has such a good left foot step, and there was an example of it there. As you said, they were looking to just hold their line, the Sea Eagles, not rush up and force the issue. Well, in the end, Bird forced it for them to score the 5th try of 2003. Brett Kamali high in the coach's box tonight, up there with Chris Anderson, and also Premier League coach for the Sharks, Simon Gillies, watching on. Jared Anderson had the kicking duties last week, 3 of 5 against the Tigers, 1 from 1 tonight against the Sea Eagles. They lead 6 points to 0. Here's Walker with the restart from the halfway line. Peachy will take it on the full and give it off to Beattie to work it back up towards the Sharks 20. What to like about the way they've approached things tonight with Kamali out of the side. They haven't sat back waiting for somebody to show them the way. They've all been up there, putting their hands up. When somebody's made a half break, there have been support players there for them. Stevens, little offload again, this time for Bosnich. Williamson does the tackling. Gibson to Delalana, again, who will kick a tackle early in the count. He'll find the green grass as well outside the Sea Eagles 20. Fairly confident start and very competent start for the rookie halfback in this game. McDougall fending away on the attempted tackle there of Danny Nutley. They stop him 5 metres on his own side of halfway. Hopewati, as ever. It's a rare set of 6 that this man doesn't get a touch from dummy half. Standing in the tackle here, still looking to offload, despite having 3 players all over him. Randall to Hamono, who runs at Bickerstaff, and also Stevens. Nutley there over the top. He gets through so much work week in and week out for the Sharks. Randall quickly to Cannings. The play from dummy half was fast. Here they are scoring off the back of it. Luke Dawn will get the try, but you can put it down to Randall getting out of dummy half and going quickly to start things for them. And they've done a Sharks on the Sharks to get back within 2. Luke Dawn gets just the 2nd try of his season, playing game number 10 tonight, having been out with injury in recent times. Walker from just to the left-hand side of the post. A 50% record last week against the Bulldogs. Gets them going tonight to make it 6-all after 14 minutes. In a very fast-paced game. Peter Sharp watching on with Eagles football manager Peter Peters in the coach's box. They would have been very pleased to see their side hit back so quickly after giving up the try to Greg Bird for the Sharks. It's Bird who will start it for us from the halfway line to get us back underway. Kick down toward John Hopewati's corner, but Ben Walker will land to take it, and it's Jason King who bumps it back out for the Sea Eagles.
Square up, don't go early.
Torrance from dummy half. Has a mono with him. Decides to come back towards the centre of the park just for a settler. Here's Hopewadi with his dummy half run. Perhaps not the last of them in this set of 6. A little offload as well for Williamson to pick up another 6 or 7 metres. Randall. This time for Hopewadi to take it up. One off the ruck. Another offload for the winger. It comes back to Walker eventually now. Here's Simono as they shift it back to the right-hand side. The Sharks just held their line and will take Solo to ground. Plenty of offloads already. 8 each. Jason King got a forward pass. You heard the Sharks players appealing for a forward pass, and referee Tim Mander agreed.
You know, both sides are coming up with some terrific rush plays in the defence, but they're not sticking. They're not wrapping up the ball. I'm sure that's one of the messages from the coaches, is to wrap up the bloke carrying the ball.
You wait till I tell you.
Let's not give them a chance to promote second phase play. Wrap it up, try and slow it down as quickly as possible. Or as slowly as possible, I should say.
Peachy trying to get a pass away. Not played at by the Seagulls, says Tim Mander, and Reeves has it. A great chance here for Manly, and now Peachy gives a penalty away. Trying to slow the play of the ball down. The Sharks off the back of a scrum win. Here's Peachy. Well, the ball looked as though it was played at by the Seagulls. Perhaps fortunate to find themselves now on the attack inside the Sharks 20. Cannings takes it towards the post. Looking for back-to-back tries here. Randall at dummy half. We go to Jason King to his right-hand side. Back on the inside for Williamson. He wants a fast play of the ball. Gibson pushes him to ground again. Randall to Walker now with Cannings there. He comes to Luke Dawn. Oh, ball back on the inside for Brendan Reeves, and the fullback couldn't hang on to it. They look dangerous down this left-hand side, Manly.
Yeah, they're testing them out on the inside. First it was a cross play for Williamson, and then it was the inside ball looking to get Brendan Reeves involved. And Luke Dawn just trying to create a little bit of space there.
I've told you, okay?
Pass with a
Don't
bit
come
too
with you when I
high.
blow it.
Let off for the Sharks. Here they are with Delalana off the back of the scrum win. A penalty to the Sharks now. Seagulls up inside the distance at the scrum. And so Cronulla very quickly find themselves in Manly territory. 6-all here at Brookvale after 17 minutes. It's Beattie who takes it up towards them. Picked up some good metres off the tap as well. Gibson to Stevens, looking to keep the roll going here. Tackled by Hermono with King over the top. Gibson from dummy half. Tackled by Hermono, who might not have been at marker. He was floating back towards the 10. Here's Delalana now stepping off that left foot to Bickerstaff into a hole. Bosnich was tackled without the ball.
You actually had his arms. He had no chance of catching that ball.
Well, they were going to go close to scoring here. It was a promising movement for them. Delalana initially, a good ball to Bickerstaff. We'll see if the Sharks take the tap. That's exactly what they'll do. They ignore the 2 points. And it's Beattie who takes it towards the post. A full set of 6, just 10 metres out from the Manly line. Gibson comes to Stevens, who runs at them. Into the shoulder there of Cannings. Pops an offload to Beattie, who loses it. Well, Stevens took the odds to dumping it off. It didn't work for them. And cheaply again, early in the tackle count in a good position, they give it back to the Sea Eagles.
Yeah, if you elect to go for the 6 points, you've got to come up with something. They had the chance for a 2-point or a 6-point shot. They decided to go for the try. First tackle, they turned it over. The right idea by Jason Stevens, but the pass had to go into the arms of Chris Beattie as the Eagles looked to counter-attack.
Coming down this left-hand side again, Cannings was almost away. Reeves firing a pass. They'll get a penalty.
Offside.
Pat Gibson, the hooker for the Sharks, up inside the 10, penalised as such by Mander. And Manly now will have it just outside the Sharks 30. Dawn with the tap. Here's Randall giving it to King. Was met there by Gibson and also beating. Another good chance for Manly. Both sides have had plenty of them inside the opposing team's 30-metre line in this opening to the game. Torrens down that right-hand side is tackled there by Dalalana. Hopewadi from dummy half. This time gives it to Hamono, who puts a right foot step on. As ever, had that ball cocked there in the right arm, looking to keep it alive. Walker at first receiver. Comes to Dawn now. Walker on the wrap around to Menzies. A wide pass for Donald, who looked to score, but might have been held up by Peachy.
Yeah, okay, what else? Check that. Check to see if he's held up or not.
Well, they will check to see if Scott Donald has been held up here. My bet is he has been, but I had a real concern about the pass from Walker to Donald in the first place, which looked to be a forward one.
Yeah, it did look to be forward, but they worked it so well. It was a lovely set play. They worked it from one sideline back across to the other. The Sharks are playing very compressed on their own line. And Donald got the opportunity to score in the corner. But Laloa Milford came across, as did David Peachy. And from that angle, it looks as though he is held up.
There's another shot of it. Milford coming across to try and drag him into touch. He dropped off the tackle, but you see Donald there. Realised he was close. Put the ball right down on top of David Peachy. You would think we'll see the no try sign here. But the Sea Eagles will get the ball back from the scrum. There's no way there you can make any sort of case that Donald got the ball down. Given the controversies we've had in the last month or so, and perhaps 6 weeks, the video referees take a couple of looks at every particular angle now just to make doubly sure that there isn't something there that they haven't seen first time around. They've been very conservative in their rulings.
Tackle 3, Warren, so the Eagles will get the ball back. He didn't go into touch. He was held up over the line.
Graham West tonight is the video referee. He has a decision. It is a no try, but it will be a scrum for Manly. So they'll get it back just 10 metres out with 6 more tackles to come. Peachy, good work though, to hold up Scott Donald and save at least 4 points for the Sharks.
Bind, second rowers, Cronulla. Bind. Get in there and bind properly.
Dawn with the feet, and Menzies goes quickly from the base of the scrum to put it down and score for the Sea Eagles. It was a set play, make no mistake about it. Dawn with the rapid fire feed, and Menzies was off in a heartbeat, and the Sharks weren't ready for it, and the captain scores a try under the post. Menzies grabs a try under the black dot. Walker will add the extra 2. And after trailing by 6 when the Sharks scored first, rather, it is the Sea Eagles who lead 12 points to 6 here.
I know it was a set play, but I also believe that the play was work with the feed, just straight through the hole, and they played it well. The foots were up. He just rolled it straight to the back of the locks. In Menzies, he picked it up. I'm sure they've worked on that at training.
The feed was an absolute beauty. The kickoff within an ace of being over the touchline on the full, but Hopewadi took it pressed up against the touchline. And they'll work it away from their own 10-metre line here. Lima playing it. Gets his chance midway through this first half. Walker coming to Menzies as the Sea Eagles look to spread it from inside their own 20. Menzies standing in the tackle. Now offloads. Walker fires it back to Hopewadi. They are throwing it around. Such confidence suddenly inside their own 20, having scored a couple of tries back-to-back. Here's Lima now. Stevens is up very quickly to try and put a shot on him. Randall from dummy half. Jason King away to Solomon Hamono. Nutley dropping off the tackle there, and Gibson was carried 5 metres before he was able to drag him to ground. Randall again. Comes to Jason King. Runs at Greg Bird. Some help there from Stevens, and they're 10 short of the halfway line here when Tim Mander says that's the last tackle. Walker from just inside his own 40. The kick is down the middle of the park, taken by Peachy, who looks up to see a very good chase team from the Sea Eagles down the middle of the park. Reek it is. He will play it just inside the Sharks' 30.
This is where the outside backs from the Sharks have to do the work. because the forwards in that set of 6 for the Sharks were really getting off the advantage line, putting extra efforts into their tackles, trying to be aggressive. And it does take a lot out of you when you've got to work the ball off your own line. So if the outside backs can come in and get the roll started, it just makes it so much easier for the forwards to continue that roll.
Bickerstaff, after 5 tackles, will play it back to Gibson. Dallalana now, just grubbering it with the left foot. Hopewadi handling it okay. Looking to his side a lot. I figured there's a chance. They saw him looking fairly uncomfortable under the kicks last week against the Bulldogs. I think there's a chance perhaps to put some pressure on him and maybe force a mistake. Torrens playing it quickly. The Seagulls with a real roll on again here. Walker spreading it to Donald. Some spaces down this left-hand side. A fend. He gets away from Milford. Still going across the middle of the park. He evaded Nutley before Bird got to him. The offload comes to Randall. Now it's Torrens who decides to put it on the toe very early in the tackle count. They had 3 more tackles after that particular one. They'd given the Sharks possession when there was some real pressure coming.
Gee, I thought he could have taken a better option than that. He elected to kick it. The Sharks get back on the football, but they're having some success just getting out of dummy half and just linking the football. And the Sharks are just hanging back, trying to slide. And the Eagles are causing them all sorts of problems.
Dominant 4. Wait.
Bosnich playing it for Gibson. Now Stevens.
Last one, no penalties.
The first 25 minutes straight so far. Gibson. Dallalana again. This time down the middle of the park. Reeves off the left hand. How about that for a trick? Just a little parry for the crowd there at the southern end of the stand, who certainly enjoyed it. Walker again, shifting it very quickly to Donald, who's been involved and picked up some good metres for the Seagulls in this first half. Here's Lever, chopped down in a classic Jason Stevens tackle, right around the legs to bring the big man to ground. Now Menzies, Williamson with him. On a pretty good line, but the captain hung on to it. Randall to Walker, who tries to go himself now. Finds Lima, who was backing up. In fact, it was Hopewadi down the middle of the park. Randall kicking in behind Peachy, who will go back almost to the try line to pick it up. Looks up, steps off the right foot, shows it. He had it poised there for an offload to Matthew Reek. So did well in the end to hang on to it. Reek from dummy half. Coming back midfield, try and open it up on both sides of the play the ball for the Sharks. Bickerstaff from dummy half. Stopped there by Menzies and also Jason King. Gibson to Nutley. He's been able to get that quick play the ball away tonight as effectively as he has done most of the year for the Sharks. Stevens again with a pop ball here. Back to Danny Nutley with a bit of space to move in here. Stopped by Williamson. On tackle number 5. We'll play it back to Dallalana. Kick on the right foot this time, so he can kick with both feet. That we know now. Hopewadi will go back to field it inside his own 30, but again, pushes it back to this left-hand side for Reeves. The tactic that's worked well for them tonight. Nath Hilda, after some surgical work in the dressing room, where that gash to the head, coming back onto the field is Dawn. It's another offload, this time from Hopewadi once again. McDougall. He'll play it. 8 metres into Sharks territory. Walker, again at first receiver, back on the inside for Menzies. There was half a chance there for a bust before Bickerstaff made the tackle. Walker going quickly. They knocked it on here through Shipway, who's out there now for Manly. And Anderson will pick it up just inches inside the touchline.
Well, they had another opportunity down there short side, and they just had too many numbers. They were fighting over the ball, unfortunately dropping it. They just need to do something a little bit different here, the Sharks. Maybe get a little bit of a spread in early in the tackle count when they're bringing the ball off their own line. The Eagles are playing really compressed in their defence. Just one out is not going to do themselves any favours. But any offload will look to have a little bit of a spread.
No way, Mark. Finished him off. No. Yeah, well, I don't think so, Steve. If I think it's the case, I'll blow a penalty. Away you go, thanks.
And that is difficult, especially after the bigger forwards are walking. They are tired, but they've just got to get themselves back into position, get a couple of second efforts happening. They might be able to find the Eagles a little bit short on the edge.
Danny Nutley hit Very strong tackle by Anthony Watt now. And Watt around the chest. Here's a mistake by the Sharks on tackle number 2 again. Their completion rate, or lack of tonight, is absolutely killing them. Icemunga put it down, the inside ball from Stevens. Icemunga knew it was on, but the pass was just up around the shoulder and he couldn't hang on to it. Michael Sullivan comes off the bench also for the Sharks. 11 of 15, and the mistakes have all come very early in the tackle count.
Yeah, Jason Stevens, he's got 2 good plays. One is the offload in the line, and the other one is the tip on to the outside. Doesn't look as comfortable tipping it on back onto the inside. Looks to telegraph it a little bit. And the markers were coming across and put Icemunga under all sorts of pressure.
Poor pass from dummy half, well handled by Shipway. And now they come again down this left-hand side. Dawn for Walker, who's hurdling players in the middle of the park. Williamson. They're like Sharks themselves, the Seagulls here, swarming all over at the park. Backing up, support players. Here's a kick put on by Walker, bouncing off its point. Anderson gets back there, but only just to clean it up for the Sharks. Just about everything tonight working for Manly.
Well, they're persisting with little kicks early in the tackle count, the Eagles, after they've busted the Sharks. I'm quite sure they just keep running with the football in hand, and they will cross for tries. They've got to do something about the right side defence.
Hand in there. Stand in there. Get out.
Geez, that was lucky.
Well, I'm sure the Sharks have their hearts in their mouths.
Okay, well, I don't think they are. Now, Steve, listen to me. If you guys milk a penalty, in my opinion, you will not get one. Flopping up and down, I don't think you are. Okay, I think you're flopping up and down trying to milk the penalty. If you do that, you will not get one. Fair enough.
Once again, Steve Menzies wanting to have a chat with Tim Mander. Tim Mander at the moment thinking the Sharks don't deserve to be penalised if the Sea Eagles are trying to milk a penalty and they've got possession. Stevens playing it as it comes back to Icemunga for the Sharks. We'll play it to Sullivan. They're 30 metres out. Here is Sullivan going from dummy half. Former Sea Eagle back on familiar territory. Peachy now getting to dummy half. And Delalana with him. Another forced pass by the Sharks. Bounces up here for Ben Walker. And luckily Sullivan was there to force him back on the inside. Now Hopewadi has it. He looks up with some room to move in. He comes across the paddock. The Sharks continue to try and force passes on the attack inside the Sea Eagles 20 and have come up with nothing.
You can't build pressure by continually turning the ball over. And after making a mistake, the Sharks really have to get to a kick.
You've just done the same thing. The tackle was made, Jared. You've come in.
Sometimes in the game you've got to earn the right to use the football. And the Sharks are just playing and just trying to throw it willy-nilly about. And defensively the Eagles are coming up.
Now Randall, just outside the Sharks 30. Shipway it is, who will play it. In front of the post, Randall comes again to Danny Lima. Stand there in the tackle before they wrap him up. Just under 9 minutes left before the break. And the Sea Eagles looking to extend this scoreline. Walker now puts the speed on, stops again, puts it on once more, gives it off to Ben McDougall, who comes back in the same direction. They have to move up the Sharks, and eventually Stevens made a very important tackle. Menzies from dummy half to Reeves. A chip early in the tackle count again for Hopewadi, who flew through the dark and came up with a terrific grab to make it 16 points to 6. 2 tonight, but this one by far his hardest assignment of the evening. Kicking at an 80% success rate so far this season. The kick is a good one. Hawking though, and just coming off the left-hand upright. Looked good through the air. He has been striking them beautifully this year. Been getting some kicking instruction from former Socceroo Graham Arnold. Pretty sharp. Not much emotion up there in the coach's box at the moment. You'd like the enthusiasm and the obvious talk that he's sort of been able to come up with in this first half an hour plus now here at Brookvale. They are a side possessed in attack tonight from both ends of the field. Walker from the restart. Once again, we'll come back to this left-hand side. Still coming. And again, it comes to Menzies. And there's some space down this side when Manly shifted there. They're just so desperate to get to the left-hand side and attack and force this Sharks defence to slide across and then try and catch them with an inside ball. Menzies. Out the blind side. Stopped there by Anderson. Play it to Randall. Here's Lima. Ran at Isamunga and barreled him backwards. Opawati, a long way from his right wing. Goes for a gain of about 10 or so. Forced the ball back. There's the danger in it, just as the Sharks have been doing. Has been working for them, but this time he put Randall under pressure, who wasn't perhaps ready for it.
Yeah, he ran straight back into it.
The knock on gives the Sharks possession. Last time the Seagulls had a lead at the break was back in round 7.
Okay,
Some
just
8 weeks
Andrew.
ago. They are
Outside
headed
leg. That's good, Jones.
for a lead here tonight,
mate,
perhaps.
no, not there. Let's get this pack. Yeah, let's just get a bit tighter. That's bad. That's bad. Still in.
Lana with the feed. The ball was...
Yeah, that's what we're going to recall it. Let's stay bound. Must stay bound. Just hold it. There you go. Get it in.
Third time lucky for the Sharks. And Lana comes up with it from the back of the scrum. And it's Bird who's tackled by Reeves and penalised. Then some indiscipline from Manly around that ruck. And the Sharks will have it. 30 out from their line. We'll see what they come up with in this set of 6, but they need a result. If not a try, perhaps a repeat set of 6 or just something to come away with from this end of the field. Tweedle now. He'll play at 18 out. Sullivan, dummy half. Delalana with him at close hand. Hilda, that bandage around the head, is tackled in front of the post. Delalana again. Gives it to Isamunga. Just comes back on the angle towards the uprights. 4 tackles gone. Here's the halfback again. Coming to Bird off that left foot. This time Williamson was there waiting for it. Tackle 5. Do they go to the air or do they grubber? Delalana was indicating he was going to the air, but put a grubber in for Brendan Reeves, who took it well. The chase was a good one also. Hilda was coming through quickly, and the fullback will concede the tackle, and they'll get 6 more tackles, the Sharks.
Yeah, that was better play by the Sharks. Delalana getting himself involved and taking a little bit of pressure off David Peachey. They got the repeat set of 6. In this situation, you'd just like to see Peachey touch the ball a little bit more, because he is the man most likely.
Boys. When you're ready, Ben, I'll blow the whistle.
After the previous mistakes, it was very much a safety first set of 6, wasn't it? This time, perhaps, having tied the Manly defence out a little bit, they might try something with a bit more spice in it. Here's Don Tweedle. Met there by Williamson. He certainly is a size. Sullivan goes to the left-hand side. Where's Nutley? Diving to the ground, gets a fast play the ball away. Sullivan through the hands there of Bird to Matthew Reek. 5 metres away now. Here's Sullivan throwing a long pass to David Peachey. Short ball for Andrew Emilio, who busted them. They went to the left, came back to the right-hand side off the next play very quickly. The Seagulls couldn't adjust, and they're back within 6. You can make that 4 after the kick.
That's what's so important. David Peachey gets the football in his hands. There's only a few players in the game that has time with the football and makes the opposition think a little bit more as Anderson converts the goal. And young Delalama, they're trying to pressure him. And Peachey's just the man to have a cool head. This was the play the ball that they were talking about. That's okay by Denny Nutley. The Eagles should have just stayed on him a little bit longer or got themselves on the body.
Steve Menzies asked that exact question about Danny Nutley going to the line and taking it to ground and diving at the ground to get a fast play the ball away. And Tim Mander, the referee, said he's allowed to do that, but what you're also allowed to do off the back of that is then lay on him in a dominant tackle situation, because Nutley has conceded in the tackle, and that's one of the situations where you are allowed to lay on top of the tackled player a little bit longer than you normally would have. The man with the ball won the contest as such. Here's Stevens again, putting putting Nutley under pressure this time. It was tackled just outside the Sharks 20. Sullivan gets it back to Tweedle, who was hit by Anthony Watmow. A much shorter man who really rattled his cage, taking it up. Tweedle knows that Anthony Watmow is a defender to watch out for. Dellalana from just inside the 40. A kick to Reeves, who had to go to ground to come up with the catch on the full. He stopped just outside the Seagulls 30. That will do us. After the first 40, the Seagulls have a rare lead at half-time. They lead the Sharks 16 points to 12. Difference between the sides as the second half starts with a short kick-off from the Sharks. They tried to catch Ben McDougall out, who was playing up on the 10-metre line for the Seagulls. They did well in the end to get back there and come up with it. Here's Randall from dummy half. Coming to his right-hand side to give it to Aaron Cannings. Watmow from dummy half. Stopped at the halfway line. Here's Hopewadi. Again from dummy half, running a long way, coming at Andrew Emilio before he gets some help from Jason Stevens, who is just 38 metres out. Now Watmow. We'll play it on the last tackle. The Seagulls, when they go to the air, perhaps through Walker. No, they come down the short side, and it's Randall who puts the grubber in. Matthew Reek was there to clean it up. Randall getting through, made the tackle on him. Nice piece of play from the hooker. They've got the Sharks camped inside their own 10 here. Their first set of 6 in this second half. Nutley will play it back to Michael Sullivan. From dummy half he goes, and straight through them. Looking to link up with Matt Hilder, who was looming up into support, but he couldn't find him. Now Peachy wanted a faster play the ball. From dummy half he gives it back to Sullivan. It comes to Greg Bird, who steps off that left foot once again. They tackle him 5 metres into Seagulls territory. Sullivan will give it to Dellalana off the left boot, looking for the in-goal area in behind Scott Donald, but the bounce was a good one for the Manly winger. Here's Reeves from dummy half. He's looked very confident. 20-year-old Andrew Dellalana in his first game in the top grade tonight.
Yeah, his passing's been great, his kicking game's been fantastic. Just like to see him run the ball a little bit more. There's opportunities there when these bigger Manly forwards kick tight.
Took them on once in the first half, but that was his only run to the line. Here's Dawn taking it to the line before he gives it back to Walker. Torrance had to reach behind himself to come up with it. He'll play it at the halfway line for Watmow. Walker this time will get the kick in. It wasn't a deep one, and Peachy is able to take it outside his own 10. Walker led the charge down the field. Peachy popped it back for Matthew Reek, who went through them. And luckily, Williamson got him by the fingernails, because it was going to be Reek one-on-one with Brendan Reeves otherwise. Here's Nutley getting it to the halfway line. The Sharks picking up good metres here. Matt Hilder grabs another 12 or so of them. 38 away from this Seagulls try line.
That's 4. Come on, 2 more, no penalties.
They play it there through Isamunga. Here's Sullivan putting the kick in, wanting it to sit down, but the kick is too big. The idea was right, just a little bit too much weight on it. And Reeves was happy to watch it go across the dead ball line as Beattie and company watch on from that Sharks bench. No changes yet to the half-time scoreline here at Brookvale. And it's Cannings who works it away, gets the right arm free to dump it back to Chad Randall. Good metres here. About 15 or so of them off the tap. Menzies. He's been very involved. Keen to spread the ball, and here he is again, popping it for Anthony Watmow. He has to clean it up. Sullivan gets there to stop him with the help of Emilio. Torrance from dummy half. We'll just bring it back to midfield. Don Tweedle is still out there in 14 for the Sharks to start this second half. Hopewadi was there, but Randall beat him to the ball. Now Dawn, second man, comes to Reeves. McDougall, he has been a handful tonight. Passed away from a couple of tackles before he was stopped by Hilder. Here's Randall kicking down the short side. He loves to work that blind side. Peachy coming across the paddock. Thought about linking up perhaps with either Bird, and here he is again, forcing the ball out the back. He's shown confidence in his support players tonight, and once again Reek doing well to beat a tackle.
They've looked dangerous when they've linked the football as the Eagles give away another penalty.
There is no movement there at all. There's your mark.
And a bit of back chat across Manly, another 10 metres. Williamson perhaps offering a bit of advice to Tim Mandit, who didn't want it, and marched them down the track a bit further on. The Sharks have it just outside the Manly 40. Hilda playing it for Sullivan. A trail by 4. A chance here to put some real pressure on this Manly defensive line. Peachy swivelling. Came back to Dalalana, who was looking to link up with Bird. Stopped there by Watmow. Easily picked up another penalty this time. Here's Milford, writhing in the tackle there of Williamson. Gets back to his feet, but checks an ankle out as Stevens takes it forward. Still going, about 15 out from the Manly line. A couple of tackles left. They've done a good job of wrapping up the big man and slowing down the play of the ball. Dalalana grubbering, looking for Emilio Hoppleward. He didn't look that comfortable. And they try and force him across the touchline, and they'll be able to do it. They take him into the corner post to get 6 more tackles. Good work off, not a bad kick from Dalalana.
Yeah, good kick there by the young number 7. The chases were a little bit deep. Just drops it on, and then Hoppleward picks the football up. He backs his strength in this situation. But look at the enthusiastic chase of the Sharks defenders. They come across. They put Hoppleward into the corner post.
No, you won't jump on me, you just want to move it. Okay.
Query from Luke Williamson as to why he was penalised. Tim Mander tells him exactly why. Just weren't quick enough getting off the tackled player. Then Walker using up some seconds to try and give his side a bit more of a breather. The goal line dropout bounces down to them, and here's Tweedle bringing it back. Tackled by Williamson just inside that Manly 30-metre line. Stevens taking it forward again. Plenty of work tonight. Hit up number 15 for him. Here's Sullivan showing it, giving it to Greg Bird, who has looked dangerous. Of course, scored the first try. Sullivan is looking more than dangerous. He'll pick up the try that ties the game up. It came really out of nowhere. There wasn't much happening for the Sharks, and suddenly the offload came Sullivan's way, and the Seals perhaps were setting up for the next tackle.
Yeah, that's the key, Warren, the offload. And the quicker men running around the smaller and, well, not smaller, but tired, bigger Eagles defenders. Their footwork is causing them a lot of concern, as is the second phase play. And that time it was Bird on to Sullivan. It's exactly the same start as they had in the first 40 minutes. The first try scorers of the half.
Good kick. There's a good one. After leading by 4 at the break, Manly find themselves down by 2. The Sharks fans who've made the trek here from the Sutherland Shire happy. They lead by 2 with 9 minutes of the second half gone as we go downstairs to the sideline, and James Kevin.
Warren, the Sharks trainer, has been with Milford since he did his ankle. As for the half-time injuries, Dean Bosnich got that head knock. He had dizziness. He will be coming back, as will Chris Beattie with swelling on the neck.
So Beattie out of action. We saw him back on the bench, but it seems as though he'll be back. A short kick-off by Manly, and Michael Sullivan got crunched off the back of it. Hamono comes from the field for the Sea Eagles.
Geez, he's been strong tonight, Jason Stevens. I expect him to play the full 80 minutes. I'm sure Chris Henderson asked him for a lot in the extra second effort tonight. He's certainly delivering at the moment. There's a charge down occurs. The Eagles get the ball back in good field position.
Alana trying to bite off too much on the kick, and Walker was able to come up with it. Here's Dawn looking to link up with Reeves, who's working down the middle of the park there in between the tired forwards. They've played on tackle 3 just outside the 20. Here's McDougall.
6-minute change, the Manly number
Chance for the Eagles here as Harris carts it forward. Now Walker puts a kick in, but the kick will be too big. The idea was right. Hoppleward was the target once again, as he was for Brendan Reeves in the first half, but this time the kick from Walker was too deep.
Yeah, the execution certainly let them down at that stage. But for me, it's been the intensity of the Sharks throughout the whole game versus the Eagles just coming in and out of the game. At stages, the Eagles have got plenty of intensity about their work. They're really working for quick play the balls. They're dominant in the defensive line. And then all of a sudden, it's like it's coming too easy for them. And they get a false sense of security about themselves.
Here's Bird tackle, 35 out from the Manly line. Peachy to Delalana. He gives it back to Milford, who's been checked out by the trainer. His ankle's okay. Delalana again. Behind Emilio. The pass was intended for Danny Nutley. Emilio cleans it up and is still going. Gets away from just about everybody before Randall saved the try with a tackle around the bootlaces. Now Matthew Reid from dummy half will get there to score maybe for the Sharks.
Mate, I'm pretty sure he's knocked that on. Last tackle as well. I'm pretty sure he's dropped it. Just check it, please.
Matthew Reid took a chance from dummy half, and it was well worth taking because he got across the line. But as he went to put the ball down, he made contact with the boot here of Aaron Cannings and may have lost it as he put the ball down, although then again, maybe he didn't.
Just watch that headlock, mate.
Well, we'll get another angle here.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think it's come away from his hand. I think it's come away onto the foot of Cannings. Certainly a great run by Matty Reek. Watch here. I think he's lost it. Last tackle.
Certainly looks like the ball has come loose there, but neither angle can conclusively say as much. There's the ball. Well, it comes away from his arm, but maybe there was a bit of contact with the forearm to get the ball down initially before the ball came loose. The more I look at it, the more I think that perhaps if you bring benefit of the doubt into it, that you could come up with 4 points here for Matthew Reid.
Yeah, I think the video ref might throw it back to the referee, give it a ref's call. He mightn't be certain that he's dropped it. I believe he's dropped it. And Tim Mernda certainly got the opinion that he thought he'd lost it as well. And Reek gave himself up when he was walking back to his teammates. He didn't look real confident at all, but we await the decision from Graham West.
He comes up with a no try and a 20-metre restart for the knock-on. Matthew Reek fairly happy with the decision, it looks like. It was a very close run thing, though. Sam Harris is out there for the Seagulls, taking it forward, as is Hopewadi, who ran to Greg Bird, who tried to put a hit on him. Now Hopewadi forces it back to Randall, who knocks it on. Another poor decision perhaps by Hopewadi to try and keep it alive. It happened in the first half with the exact same combination, and this time Randall once again coughs it up. Some work being done on Matt Bickerstaff on the sideline for the Sharks.
Outside.
A back problem, they're trying to loosen him up. Plenty of interchanges left for both sides, and now a penalty for the Sharks.
Well off.
The second time in the game that Manly have been offside from the scrum. And David Peachy wants to keep the roll going here. He finds the line. The Sharks lead by 2. It might be more than that in just a moment. Isamunga will play it for them. Sullivan waiting for it. Going from dummy half. There's a real danger to force his way over from that position. He's only a couple of centimetres away when he plays it. Here's Peachy. Pass to Delalana. Now Stevens. Just taking it towards the post to give them some space either side of the ruck. Milford is there at dummy half waiting for it. He comes to the halfback. They came up very quickly though. Mono got up off the line to hurt him back in towards the post. Sullivan with 2 tackles left. Comes to Peachy. Tried to pop it out the back. It came off Steve Menzies' legs and went backwards there to Ben McDougall. Once again, the Sharks here try and force the issue through Peachy when not much was on.
Yeah, he's had a lot of success with the one-arm flick down in their own red zone. But in the attacking zone, just trying to force it a little bit too much. But I like the idea of him getting involved. They're really rushing off their line that time, showing a lot more urgency, though, the Eagles in the defence, as Hopewadi looks to become involved.
Here he is, being cleaned up by Nutley over the top, stopped by Hilda downstairs. Hopewadi went from dummy, from marker actually, to try and push The marker's out of the way. Now it's Walker who's racing through, putting it on the toe, and eventually Bird gets there to clean up for the Sharks. But a promising movement for the Seagulls. Ran the risk of being called back because John Hopewadi interfered with the marker defence.
Yeah, your marker's got to be alert when you play the Eagles. Anytime they're outside backs, and in particular Reeves goes to dummy half, he's there to run the football. There's a lot of cheap meters through the Sharks' ruck as they look to offload. That's better play. Just an offload or a two-pass shift. Just breaks the defensive line up, allows a quick play the ball, then they can start their dummy half running.
Second phase here from the Sharks as they keep it alive, and Nutley knocks it on. It was a pass that was there to be taken. Michael Sullivan popped a good ball up to him. He's got a bit of blood flowing from a cut to the nose there as well. But Nutley knew it was there to be taken. Sullivan had the arms free, and Nutley just grabbed at it to knock it on. Things were building once again for the visitors.
Stand square. Stand square. No, Ben, I'll worry about him. You stand square. No. Let's get this scrum formed properly. Now, you just wait, Ben. I know. It's out.
Well, there's still very much a curiosity, the scrum at the moment, isn't it? Here's Hopewadi to Torrens. Just outside the Sharks' 20. Walker with a long pass, about 25 metres of it to Dawn. A ball back on the inside for Reeves, and Sullivan knew there was a real danger.
Never onside.
The Sharks were up inside the 10, though.
Bloke that made the tackle was never onside.
And with the Seagulls trailing by 2, you would think they will take the chance to level the scores here. The penalty comes right in front of the posts, about 15 out.
He was in front of me, and he's gone in and made the tackle.
And Ben Walker will get them back on equal terms, you would think.
Yeah, you'd think he slot this one
Let's have 10 metres now,
straight
thanks.
over. There's Tim Mander
You're
starts
bludgeoning on me the
warning.
whole time. Well, that's your responsibility.
Had some good second efforts tonight,
Danny,
the Sharks.
Greg.
Good scramble defence.
Give us 10, mate.
Certainly kept them in the
Sorry,
game.
Walker kicks the penalty goal and makes it 18. Playing 18 here at Brookvale with just under 24 minutes left. It has been a tight one as the Sharks bring it back up to the halfway line to get us back underway. Let's go downstairs to James Kevin.
Warren, we saw Matt Bickerstaff getting worked on earlier on the sideline. He's been carrying a niggling groin injury for the last couple of weeks, but he will be coming back on.
Here's the kickoff, a short one angled towards the touchline, and Stephen Menzies played it beautifully. He put the foot over the touchline and caught it on the full. The kickoff is then out on the full, and here's Walker finding the touchline himself, about 35 out. There's Menzies getting the foot down just before he made the catch. So Harris has it for the Seagulls. 28 out from this Sharks line. Randall to Walker. He spent most of the game at first receiver. Watmout putting a fend on, going again. Eventually stopped by Bird and also Nutley. Hopewadi will give it to Hermono. A danger to get that right arm free in this situation. And he's lost it. Hermono's not happy about it. He was blowing up at Tim Mander, and he put it down, said the referee. A great chance for them to hit the lead yet again here. And it goes out the window with the mistake by the second rower.
Oh!
On the scrum win, and it's Anderson. He will work it forward for the Sharks. 22 minutes left, plenty of time for both these sides, but they've shown perhaps a lack of patience at various stages in the first half. And Mono has been left in an awkward position here, back behind the play after making the tackle. Might have been concussed. Well, don't worry about might have been, certainly was. Here's a loose ball. Peachy makes the tackle on Chad Randall. The Seagulls get another chance. Off the back of a mistake. Here's Watt now. They'll convert the chance. Watt now scores the try to put Manly back in front. It came off another drop ball from Danny Nutley, and they scored off the back of it. They lead the Sharks 22 points to 18. Walker with the conversion attempt. It's a good one. 24-18 is the score midway through this second half. Of course, in the build-up to this try by Anthony Watt, now we saw Solomon Hamono left on the ground concussed rather heavily, it seemed, at the time. He was caught in an awkward position there, trying to make the tackle on Matt Hilda. See how... Oh, now here's Ben Walker getting to the ball, but only just lucky not to have knocked it on. In fact, he might have been hurt here in the tackle and has lost it as well. So the Sharks have got a chance straight away here, and Ben Walker is now in a bit of trouble.
They rolled over the top of him. But he's hurt, obviously. Fair dinkum.
We've had some problems for the Seagulls in quick succession here. Solomon Hamono was left on the ground at the other end of the park, and now here's Walker diving on it. Teams and also the crowd here tonight at Brookvale as he's helped from the field on the stretcher.
Just take time. No hold!
Well, Ben Walker goes from the field. Time is blown back on. The Sharks have it in a very good position. Here's Emilio from the scrum win, almost getting away from McDougall. Peachy, a dummy half, goes to his right-hand side. They'll work it to within about 5 metres or so, and they play it there through Icemonger. Sullivan, a poor pass for Delalana, put him under pressure. Now the ball is pinched one-on-one by Anthony Watt now. Peachy has him. He was trying to strip it himself on a one-on-one tackle. Another poor set of 6 by the Sharks deep on the attack. Harris popping a ball back for Chad Randall, who stopped at the halfway line. What a turnabout in a couple of seconds here at Brookvale. Hamono, stop now on just tackle number 2. Here's Hamono, or rather Hopewadi. He plays like Hamono, working it forward time and time again, looking up, wanting a penalty from Tim Mander. Randall rubbering down the short side with tackles up their sleeve again. We've seen them deploy that early kick a number of times tonight. Really hasn't brought too many dividends for them.
No, it certainly hasn't. On the one occasion they have scored a try, and that was to Hopewadi. They turned the ball back quite cheaply when they've chewed up the yards quite easily early in their tackle count.
Sullivan from dummy half. They play the ball as a slow one, with Beattie being forced backwards by Jason King. Another sloppy pass. They've had their moments from dummy half in the last couple of sets. Nutley this time did well to hang on to it. And Greg Bird gets a kick in, which Brendan Reeves will come across and take on the full, just inside his own 30. Donald now puts it down and gives it straight back to the Sharks. Well, both coaches will be reaching for the heart tablets here at the moment. Here's Icemonger tackled at the Manly 20, and they've got them backpedaling. Delalana to Peachy, who cuts out one. Torrens, though, was offside and came up to play at it. Peachy wants to take a quick tap. He gets the mark from the referee, takes the tap and gives it to Chris Beattie to take it forward for a settler. Some simple mistakes from both sides. Turn the ball over. Here's Sullivan, who made the break and dropped the ball over the line.
Okay, here we go. Let's have check here, see who's got the score down. John Hopewadi out here. You just wait over there. Wait over there with him, mate. That's absolutely not acceptable.
Tim Mander wants to talk to John Hopewadi about something, and we'll hear about that in just a moment. But Sullivan here, putting the ball down, bounces it, and he tried to put it down with one hand and knew he'd made the mistake straight away. I'll tell you what, though, having looked at it from that angle there, you could make a case that there were still some fingers on the ball to come up with some downward pressure. That angle there, though, makes it look like a game of basketball.
What are we thinking?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they are thinking. If you slow it right down, it looks as though he's still got his fingers on the football. And in fast motion, It looks as though he's just bounced.
We'll see it at normal speed now, and there it is. Sullivan pretty much straight away thought he had dropped it. Could be an extremely important mistake if they come up with a no try here, and having had a couple of looks at it, Graham West, the video referee, has a call. He says no try and a knock on in the in-goal area.
Stay for a moment. I will not have you charging at me when I'm trying to make a decision. I am waiting for the advantage for your side. Okay? Let's keep our cool. Wait, you wait for the whistle.
John Hopewadi raced up to say to Tim Mander, there's no way that's a try, and Mander had the situation under control all the time. He played it exactly by the book. Here is Hopewadi. 15 short of the halfway line when he plays it back to Randall. What a turnaround that could be. Michael Sullivan gets across the line and bounces the ball to cost his side 6 points. McDougall. Here's Luke Dawn, giving it off to Sam Harris, who's about 35 out from the Sharks line when he plays it. Randall down that blind side that he loves to work in. Stopped this time by Anderson. It comes back to Dawn. He'll put it high in the air. A wobbly old kick that gets away from David Peachy. It bounces up. And Jason King flew like Superman to try and score a try. It came down behind the dead ball line.
A fantastic effort by the front row, wasn't it? The bomb went high in the air. Peachy let it bounce. Probably should have made a better effort at attacking the football, but the gods were on his side.
Sullivan with a pass to Beattie, which looked as though it was forward, and you heard Tim Mander say it must have been close. Here is Sullivan looking to make amends for the bomb try. Bickerstaff gets in behind them. The ball came off the Sea Eagles.
No ball control. No ball control.
Well, it looked as though perhaps that could have been a ball that came back to the Sharks, and Chris Anderson can't believe what he's seeing from his side, who are just falling on their own sword at the moment. Here's the replay again. The ball in the right arm there. Well, knocked out by Anthony Watt now. It came off the head of Brendan Reeves. Straight back to the Sharks. I can't believe that wasn't play on.
Well, I can't believe the video ref didn't make a case or tip off to the referee as the scrum was forming. So, mate, you got that one wrong. Even though it wasn't a play the ball, he could have said, give the feed to the Sharks. But instead, one play later off the scrum, they give away a penalty, and they're under a lot of pressure.
Sorry, mate.
And the way that the ball skewed out, you would have thought that someone had made a play at it. It wasn't if it just fell out. It will actually come out at 100 mile an hour.
Off the back of a penalty, the Sea Eagles now find themselves at the other end of the field, and Jason King is tackled 35 out from this Sharks line. Randall, dummy half, coming to Sam Harris, looking around the ruck, looking to fast play the ball away, back to the dummy half who goes to Dawn, double pumps it to give it to Menzies, an offload. We've seen several of them tonight from the captain. 3 tackles gone. Here's McDougall at dummy half. Dawn rubbering early in the tackle count yet again. Peachy watching it. The Sea Eagles will get 6 more tackles. The fullback playing it across the dead ball line, and now going for the short one off the goal line dropout. It didn't have the oomph to get to the sideline. Here are Manly again, just outside the Sharks 20. Randall to Harris. Comes away to Shipway. They're in front of the post. They lead by 6. 13 minutes left. Could be any thought this early about a field goal. Torrens, though, thinking about 4 points. Got within an ace of scoring them. He plays it. It comes to Williamson. They've got them short on this side. Williamson gets up to go again. Not held. Yes, he was. Now called to play it. Watt now gives it to Jason King. He'll try and force his way across, but he's taken. Touch and goal.
Yeah, just check the grounding there.
Terrific work. 3 players coming in against the front rower. He goes to slam it down there. What's Dean Bosnich doing in the road?
He couldn't have been in a worse spot. Now here's an angle from the other end of the field with the ball down there. Still no contact. There's King now, and he just collecting the corner post. That one there shows it fairly well, as you would think. We'll see what Graham West comes up with, but again, taking a lot of different looks at it. Here's the ball down. The video referee eventually has a decision. He comes up with a try, an important one as well. He pushes the margin out to 10 points with just on 13 minutes left. The Sea Eagles 28 lead the Sharks 18.
Yeah, they're extremely happy about it. Takes him out to a 10-point lead. Jason King finds himself out there on the wing, puts it over in the corner. And at the bench, Solomon Amono, he's happy. The crowd are going up as one. They're quite excited. And Luke Williamson gets the chance to line up the kick, taking over the kicking duties from Ben Walker. Jason King, 1 for the night and 3 for his career. I'm sure he'll remember that one.
One perhaps that he wasn't expecting to see come up with the try side. After the second replay, we were all surprised that he was able to sneak the ball down in between the legs of the Cronulla defenders. That's the sideline and the mound. Luke Williamson has the ball placed up against an important kick and push them out to a 12-point margin, which would be a long way back for the Sharks with just on 12 minutes left. That's done a fair bit of kicking in the past, Luke Williamson. Isn't just a fill-in grab from anywhere. Plenty of kicking for the Sea Eagles and also the Raiders before that.
Yeah, he certainly strikes the ball well. If you're a betting man, you'd probably back him in here. He likes him from the sideline.
A 70% success rate. You can add a notch to that because he's kicked it. Oh, what a fill-in. 30 points to 18. The Sea Eagles lead by 12. Let's go down to the sideline for a report on Ben Walker from James Kevin.
Warren, it's all good news. Although initially he was so badly concussed he couldn't talk to the doctor, he's now got feeling in his hands. He will go to hospital, and you might remember he had a similar accident in the Sevens earlier this year.
Ben Walker, that is good news. Well, the Manly 5'8", he will be checked out in hospital. Hopewadi, meantime, takes it outside the Sea Eagles 20. On the cusp of an important win here. Just 5 and 7 coming into this game. They found themselves in 11th position. And they needed a win to keep themselves in some sort of contact with the top 8, and they'll get a penalty.
Just around here.
Chris Beattie coming up with a high tackle. Not much going the way of the Sharks. It really has been all downhill since Michael Sullivan got across the line but didn't get the ball down.
Yeah, it seemed to be the turning point, that decision. I'm sure it would have been a different ball game, close to the sticks. It would have been 24 points apiece, and the Sharks with the advantage coming home. But they took their chance. The Eagles worked the ball down the other end of the field. Got a try with Jason King. Still 10 minutes to go if the Sharks are good enough. But you don't think they've got, well, I don't think they've got 2 tries in them at this stage. 10 minutes to go.
They haven't shown the ability to make a lot of long breaks tonight. A couple of good ones early in the first half from inside their own half, but they've been hard to come by. Randall trying to get back to his feet to play it to Menzies. Dawn showing it a couple of times. Good take by Harris, reaching behind him. 2 tackles left. A try here for the knockout blow. Dawn rubbering off the hands there, and it will be 6 more tackles.
Charge downs over here. Back yet. No, I think you touched it, Mick.
Sullivan played at it and knocked it on, according to Tim Mander. So the Sea Eagles will get 6 more tackles from right in front of the Sharks' post.
Yeah, they go for the killer blow here. The Eagles, a repeat set of 6. The Sharks are out on their feet.
Okay, back tight.
Really struggling to hold on here.
Let's go.
Dawn with the feed. Comes back to Hopewadi, who will try and out-sprint them to the line. He's going close. He's going further than that. He scores the winning try for the Seagulls.
Check it for a double movement.
They will look to see if Hopewadi advanced the ball after coming down short of the line, but it looked as though he had a fair bit of momentum on his side. And when he came to the short side, one in from his normal position, he was always going to try and use his strength to force his way across the line. He bounced up, and then did reach out with the second motion, didn't he? But did he have some momentum to carry him forward? The ball there short of the line, under his left pectoral muscle, if you like, and then he puts the ball down still under his left shoulder, around about the same position he was carrying the ball when he hit the ground initially. If he has momentum, it can put the ball down in a similar position. It is a try, but we'll wait and see what Graham West makes of it.
Looks as though it will be a try, but he did exaggerate it a little bit, the double bounce.
And Graham West has only needed a couple of quick looks at it, you would think, and that wouldn't spell points for the Seagulls. It doesn't. He says double movement against John Hopewadi.
Yeah, I can make a case for a double movement. I think it does. He exaggerates the movement. I think if the momentum just had carried him, the arm wouldn't have raised or be high as what it was.
Square up, square
It may
up.
not be that much of a crucial call in the end, because they do lead by 12 here with only 8.5 left. The game is certainly theirs to lose. Beattie taking it forward. About 25 metres out from his own line when he plays it back to Gibson, who spent a long time on the bench. Sullivan played some good minutes, but came up with perhaps the defining moment of the game. The kick from Sullivan down the middle of the park to Reeves, taking it on the full and bringing it back to almost the 40. They're winning this war at the moment as far as field position is concerned, the Seagulls. There's no doubt about that. Playing it here in a good shape. Here's Torrens. He works it up towards the halfway line. Hopewadi from dummy half. Running a long way again. He was looking to link up with Menzies. Got a nice line. Dalilana comes from the field. At the moment, he's out of the action, and you would think his night might be done. Randolph again down that blind side. He'll just take it there. He might even just look to kick it out of play here and use up some time on the clock. Although Dawn has other thoughts. And will come back towards the post. Menzies chasing through on Peach. He lost his footing as he was coming down on top of the fullback. And he links up with Matthew Reek. Menzies was desperate to get a chance here. The Sharks will get the penalty. Now Luke Dawn is back on the ground at the moment, around about the mark where the penalty was taken from, and might have injured perhaps a hamstring. Keep an eye on him as Stevens, meanwhile, pops a pass here for Danny Nutley. The Sharks, to be any chance, they need to score on this foray into Manly territory. A pass thrown for Beattie across the face of one Shark. He'll play it just outside the Seagulls 30. Here's Gibson from dummy half, giving it away to Bosnich. Short ball on, but Menzies was up there to make the tackle on Matt Hilda. Here's Sullivan into a bit of space once again. Gibson was backing up, but he couldn't get it to him. 2 tackles left. Bird firing a long pass to Andrew Emilio. He then pops it over the top to Matthew Reek. He flicks it out the back to Peachy. The Seagulls have done well to scramble, and the fullback is cleaned up by Jason King. Last tackle, Emilio keeps it alive. Gibson flings it backwards. Here comes Reeves. He'll make a tackle which ends the set of 6. That might just about do it for the Seagulls.
Yeah, great desperation there by the Eagles defending their line. They realised that was make or break from the Sharks as they look to counter-attack. He's been dangerous all night, Ben McDougall, as he gives the ball to Donald.
Now it's a race with Peachy, who can't go with the winger. He thought about coming across in cover, but changed tack to make sure Donald couldn't come around towards the post. But it doesn't matter now. Manly will get the points here tonight at Brookvale. They lead 34 points to 18, and do you reckon they're not happy about it?
Well, they're certainly celebrating. Brennan Reeves looked as though he was giving a mouthful to a couple of the Sharks boys. Might have been a little bit of niggle in this game. But Ben McDougall, every time he's run the football, he's looked dangerous. They carved this right edge up in the first half. In the second half, it hasn't been as dominant, but this time the ability to one-arm offload around the corner pass. Scotty Donnell in space. Good try from a well-noted speedster.
It was a lovely pass, wasn't it, from McDougall, and Donald can go. I thought initially Peachy had a chance to perhaps wind him in, but he gave up the ghost pretty early on, and Donald was away for the Beckies. And an important win for Manly also hands a very big loss to the Sharks, who now, after 12 games, or rather 13 games, will find themselves with a 4-9 record and long odds against making the top 8 in 2003, when you consider that Brett Kamali, of course, is still out of action for somewhere around the next 3 games at least. And the Sharks have already had both byes. Williamson from 15 out. This one, we would reckon, be a snack for him after kicking one from the sideline. He adds the extras. And what a scoreline we have now. 36 points to 18. Now Chris Henderson, the Sharks coaches, must be ruining the fact that Sullivan dropped the ball over the line when they were poised to tie the game up at 24. Bird with the kickoff. Looking for the sideline, but it bounces down towards John Hopewadi. He's been very good again for the Seagulls. His teammate Ted Randall under pressure a couple of times with a couple of offloads, which he coughed up, but they get a penalty here this time. And it's Randall who will find the sideline. Just on 3.5 minutes left. Of course, following this game on Super Saturday, we'll take you to Wynn Stadium. The clash between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Kickoff isn't all that far away down at Wollongong. We'll take you there immediately after the conclusion of this game. Cannings, good run from the front rower. We'll play it back to Randall. Here's Jason King doing a little bit of halfback work, the front row, getting into first receiver. Shipway tackled and played back to Dawn. Williamson gives it to McDougall, coming back to the middle of the park. Here's Shipway standing. McDougall wrapping around, is involved in everything suddenly. He stopped just inside the Sharks 20. Last tackle. Randall will come down the short side again, chipping for the in-goal area. Peachy shepherds it across the dead ball line. And the Sharks will bring it back to their own 20. As I was saying, the Sharks now a 4-win, 9-loss record. Will travel to Townsville next week. The daunting task of trying to beat the North Queensland Cowboys.
Yeah, they're always difficult up there, and the Sharks will find it difficult the next few weeks without Brett Kamali. But they've got to try and manufacture a win somehow or some way. They've tried extremely hard tonight, and you mentioned Michael Sullivan's drop ball. That was a real turning point in the game, because after the second half they come out, they're a lot more enthusiastic than the Eagles.
Sullivan still out there, playing at halfback at the moment for the Sharks with Delalana off the field, and here he is now. The basketball pass, Hilda getting it back to Anderson. Comes through the hands of Gibson, back to Sullivan. They're playing with some desperation. And it is too late for them. They'll get a penalty, the Sharks. Danny Lima giving away the penalty for Manly. The Seagulls, well, next week, take on the Dragons here at Brookvale Oval on Super Saturday. And we'll be here to bring you that one as well live. A very important game in prospect for both teams. Peachy for Beattie, now Sullivan. The Eagles' defence was up pretty quickly to stop him firing a pass over the top. Bird, the cutout ball, which found one of the cheerleaders, perhaps. The only person in danger of taking the pass. It was a poor one from the 5'8". So the Manly side will end this one with possession. Apart from the opening 10 minutes or so, where the Sharks looked to perhaps be getting the better of the opening exchanges. They have controlled this one, the Seagulls. Hopewadi. That's it for yet another touch. 31 hit-ups for him tonight. Able to exploit him
ladies and gentlemen, big
that
night.
right-hand side of the defensive
We
line
take
for
on the
Manly,
Dragons.
as the Bulldogs were able to do a couple of times last week. Expect a little bit of potency, the Sharks, tonight.
Look!
Randall. Give it to Williamson. Cannings. Pulling backwards in the tackle. Give it away to Shipway.
That's 4!
And this will be the last tackle of the night. Randall from dummy half. He'll be pretty happy to concede it. And now he tries to put a dance on. And that will do us tonight. The Sea Eagles have beaten the Sharks here at Brookvale, 36 points to 18.